Friends, a warm welcome to all of you for another video of the Mystical channel. This is another episode of the Mahabharatha Story. King Shantanu Satyavathi couple gives birth to two sons named Chitrangda and Vichitravirya. Shortly after, Shantanu passed away. According to righteousness, Bhishma crowned Chitrangda as king. The warrior Chitrangda fought and defeated many kings of Bhartakhanda in battle. However, he faced and fought with a Gandharva of his own name and met a heroic death. Although Vichitravirya was younger, Bhishma himself took on the administration of the kingdom, acting as Satyavathis' protector. Later, Vichitravirya became eligible for marriage. Kashi Raja organized a Swayamvara for his three daughters, Ambe, Ambika and Ambalika. After receiving the order from Satyavathi, Bhishmacharya went to this Swayamvara. Among the assembled princes, Bhishma was the oldest. Because of this, the other princes mocked him. Angered by this, Bhishmacharya forcibly placed Kashi Raja's three daughters in a chariot and set off towards Hastinpura. The other kings and princes attacked Bhishma, but the mighty Bhishma single-handedly pushed them all back. Then, the great archer Shalva confronted him, but after defeating him, Bhishma returned to Hastinpura with Ambe, Ambika and Ambalika. The marriages of these three were decided with Vichitravirya. The elder Ambe shyly said to Bhishma, "O valorous one, I had wholeheartedly admired the noble Shalva, but you have vanquished him." To which Bhishma replied, "All right, it shall be as per your wish." When this news was to be conveyed to Satyavathi, she gave her consent with a generous heart. Bhishma sent Ambe to Shalva along with the elderly ministers. However, Shalva rejected her. Upon returning, Bhishma said, "You should now go to your father." She refused that. "You have conquered me, therefore you should marry me," she pleaded. Bhishma said, "I have vowed to remain a celibate in this life. I cannot marry you, nor anyone else." In the end, Ambu performed penance without returning home. Subsequently, she was born as Shikandi to avenge herself. Ambike and Ambalek married Vichitravirya. He later became afflicted by the Rajaksha disease. Despite many expert doctors treating him, he did not succeed and became a victim of time. Satyavathi became even more worried because of the sorrow of losing her son and the lack of a successor in Hastinpura. Her son, Bhishma, was very duty-bound. She knew that he would never marry. Then she remembered the events that had happened in her life before. Satyavathi was rowing her father's boat in the Yamuna, doing so dharmically. She was a young woman and very beautiful. Once, the sage Parshara came to cross the river. He was enchanted by her beauty. He covered the surrounding area of Yamuna with mist. He spoke of not being able to ruin her maidenhood and, with her consent, became infatuated with her. Satyavathi gave birth to a radiant son named Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. The teacher of Vyasa is the divine sage Narada. Both Narada and Vyasa were wandering ascetics. They were always wandering monks. In the beginning of the era, the Vedas were one complete entity. Vyasa divided the Vedas. Among them, the collection of hymns became the Rig Veda. The detailed procedures of sacrifice became the Yajur Veda, while the collection of mantras useful for medicinal science and worldly affairs became the Atharva Veda. The collection of hymns suitable for singing became the Samaveda. Thus, for the sake of study, they were categorized into 4 Vedas. Accordingly, the Rig Veda was taught to Palana, the Atharva Veda to Sumanta, the Yajur Veda to Vashampayana, and the Samaveda to Jamini. These disciples were to teach their own students. Thus, it was Vyasa's intention that the study of the Vedas should continue from generation to generation through the succession of teachers. The sage Veda Vyasa composed the Brahma Sutras. In this text, he has written the spiritual principles in the form of aphorisms. He also composed 18 Puranas, which include 6 Sattvic Vaishnav Puranas, Nardiya, Bhagavata, Garuda, Padma, and Varha, and 6 Rajasic Puranas, Brahmanda, Brahma Vaivarta, Markande, Bhavishya, Vaman, and Brahma, along with 6 Tamasic Puranas, Matsya, Kurm, Linga, Shiva, Skand, and Agni. Vyasa compiled these Puranas, which existed separately as verses, into a well-organized Purana Sanhita. The tradition of Puranas has been carried on since ancient times. These Puranas show the path to human salvation. It is from this that the position of Puranas in the Sanskrit language is the highest. Krishna Dvaipayana instructed his disciple Lomharshana to propagate this collection of Puranas in the world. The sage Vyasa had promised his mother Satyavathi, "Mother, if you just remember me, I will be present to serve you. The throne of Hastinapura must not be empty. The lineage must continue." The mighty Bhishmacharya does not step back from his vow, so Satyavathi thought that the only way was to remember Vyasa. She remembered her son Vyasa. Vyasa appeared before her and said, "Mother, you have remembered me. What command do you wish to give?" and bowed at her feet. "Son, the throne of Hastinapura is vacant. Bhishma is bound by his oath. The lineage should not be destroyed. Son, I have 2 daughters-in-law. She is saying that you should make arrangements for progeny through them without any hesitation." Vyasa closed his eyes and remained silent for a while. He then said, "Mother, I cannot go beyond your command, so I will do this work. Your daughters-in-law, Ambika and Ambalika, must remain celibate for a year. After the year passes, I will beget offspring from them through the method of appointment." To that, Satyavathi said, "My son, what you said is indeed free of charge, but it is not right to be without a king on the royal throne for so long. Therefore, she insists that you do this work immediately." Vyasa said, "Mother, by the vow, there will be strength in both of us. They will be able to withstand my fierce form. Otherwise, how can it be possible?" To that, Satyavathi replied that she had not been with me for so long. Before Vyasa, she first went to Ambika. Unable to bear Vyasa's fierce, radiant form, she closed her eyes. She gave birth to a blind son whose name was Dhritarastra. Ambalek was conceived with the grace of Vyasa. She did not have a healthy son. He was named Pandu. To have a faultless son, Ambalek was sent again to Vyasa. However, Ambalek was afraid of Vyasa's fearsome form. Instead of herself, she sent her maid. The maid bravely went to Vyasa. She bore a faultless, just, righteous, and virtuous son. He was named Vidura. Friends, the story of this great sage's birth is as follows. There was a sage named Mandavya. Thieves broke into the palace of the kingdom where his ashram was located and looted the royal treasury. When the guards chased after them, the thieves, in fear of their lives, hid the stolen wealth in Mandavya's ashram and escaped. While searching for the thieves, the soldiers captured sage Mandavya and brought him before the king, accusing him of being a criminal. The king, enraged, commanded that the criminal be impaled, but sage Mandavya remained calm. He was always reciting the Gayatri Mantra. Even when he was being impaled, his peace remained intact. His aura spread everywhere. Seeing that aura, the king was impressed. The sage was immediately released. The sages forgave the king. However, they became angry with Yam. The Mandavyas went directly to Yam's realm and asked, "Yamraja, I have committed no sin, yet I had to endure the disgrace of being impaled. Why is this? Yam said, O sage, every action done by a living being from the moment of birth must be experienced. When you were 3 years old, you must have pricked a butterfly with a thorn, and for that, you had to endure pain. I am still young. For a small mistake made in ignorance during my childhood, you have, without cause, given me such a disgraceful punishment. I curse you that you will be born as the son of a servant, as the curses say. When Yam heard this, the sages compassionately said, even if you are born as a servant's son, your righteousness, justice, and purity will spread across the 3 worlds. And so saying, they departed. Friends, let's meet again in the next video. Until then, happy day.